CSX sort of gave us a warning about the future.
They did, and so they now see that their revenue for the full year is going to be down 1% to 2%. They had previously been looking at a low single-digit gain, so this is a pretty significant shift here. And they say, you know what, this is based on our current read of the freight conditions. We could lift this if conditions do improve in the back half of the year. But to me, you don't come out and make this significant of a cut unless you're seeing some warning signs and a need to be conservative, a need to be a little bit more cautious on the environment that we're in right now.
And something of a change, because before they were pretty positive about where we're headed, and I guess they're saying now we're not going off a cliff, but it's not looking good at the moment.
Right, and they've been sort of dismissive. If you remember back in January, these recession worries were really at a fever pitch, especially for industrial companies, and CSX was among those who said, we're not at that point yet. Growth is still really holding up. It's very strong. Volumes are holding up. Well, now they're not. We're seeing volumes come down pretty significantly across the board, particularly in intermodal. So CSX has been cutting some of its less profitable intermodal lines, so that's why you're seeing such a significant drop. But the rest of it is tariffs. It's dampening demand. You're just not seeing these industrial companies buy as much, especially after they had such an uptick in inventory at the end of last year to try to get ahead of some of those tariffs.
So then explain to me, like, the J.B. Hunt story, and then how the Dow Transports actually had a good rally yesterday versus the CSX.
So it's interesting. I think there could be one of two things happening there. So J.B. Hunt is obviously in trucking. We've seen weak trucking rates, which is, to some extent taking market share away from the likes of CSX and the rail. So that could be playing into their forecast for an uptick in the back half of the year as far as volumes. But there's also a question of whether J.B. Hunt is just maybe being too optimistic. I think it's going to be interesting to see the rest of the transports come out with earnings and see sort of where they fall on the spectrum. Are you conservative like CSX and see reason for caution? Or are you J.B. Hunt and think this was just a momentary blip and we're going to rebound in the back half of the year? I tend to fall more on the conservative, cautious side.